I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, here to explain how using behavioral science can change your life. Have you ever really wanted to change something in your life, but it didn't work out the way you planned? Maybe you wanted to eat healthier, or exercise more often, or get rid of a bad habit. You made some goals, you tried to change, but in the end, you were not successful and you felt frustrated and stressed out. Well, here's some good news. The science of behavior change can help you succeed in changing your behavior and as a result, have a better life. Behavioral scientists have found that people who go through a particular process to make a behavior change are more successful than those who don't. That process is called the trans-theoretical model, or simply the stages of change. Let's learn about these stages to help you succeed in making a positive change in your life. Meet Isabella. She has a challenging job and often feels tired and run down. One day, her friend asks if she'd like to join a fitness walking group, but Isabella doesn't see the purpose and explains that her schedule is too busy. Isabella is in stage 1 of the trans-theoretical model, the pre-contemplation stage. For her to move out of this stage, something has to happen, something that makes her think. One day, Isabella reads an article that helps her realize some of her habits really aren't healthy and could lead to serious problems later in life. She begins to consider the pros and cons of making a lifestyle change. Now when her friend asks about walking, Isabella says she'll think about it. Isabella is now in stage 2, the contemplation stage. As Isabella contemplates further, she starts to talk to her friends and colleagues about how she might fit a regular walking program into her busy schedule. She also researches what she might need for walking, as well as the benefits she can expect, such as better health, more energy, and increased endurance. Isabella is emotionally and mentally preparing herself to change her lifestyle by increasing her self-efficacy and building her determination toward adopting this new behavior. She's in stage 3, the preparation or determination stage, which will empower her to make a change. Now that Isabella is prepared and determined to make a change, she takes action by joining her friend's walking group. After a month, Isabella is doing very well and starts to see her results in her energy and daily life. Isabella is in stage 4, the action stage. But when things get a bit hectic at work, she stops walking for a week. Fortunately, her group leader understands the challenges people face in the action stage and shares some motivational material to help Isabella get back on track. Over time, Isabella becomes more consistent and confident with her walking activity and starts feeling better than ever. Fast forward 6 months, we find that Isabella is consistently maintaining her new lifestyle. She feels great physically, handles daily stress with more ease, and has more energy than ever. Isabella is in the 5th stage, the maintenance stage. She has built a supportive network by getting friends and family to join her walking group, and that helps her focus on preventing a relapse back to her previous behavior patterns. Each stage of the behavioral change process presented new challenges, but when Isabella worked on her internal attitude changes, she was able to make the external behavioral changes that she desired. Now she's thrilled with her healthier lifestyle and all the benefits that come along with it. Congratulations, Isabella! We all have behaviors that we want or need to change. Using behavioral science to understand the change process will help you be more successful with changing those behaviors. That means a better you and a better life. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess. Thanks for joining me. I'd love to hear about your journey to a better you. chances are there's a habit or behavior in your life that you need to change, but something is holding you back. Maybe it's time to change your diet, pursue a new career, or start exercising, maybe even lead your company through adopting a new software platform. Sure, you realize it's a good idea to make this change, but you just don't have the time, desire, or energy to even get started. Maybe even just the thought of changing is seriously uncomfortable. So you're not even ready to think about that change. The truth is, you really do need to make that change, but you're stuck. Or at least you're feeling stuck. If this description fits you, then you're most likely in the pre-contemplation stage, the first of the 5 stages of change. Positive, productive change is a journey, not a one-time event or a destination. The journey begins with simply acknowledging that you're in the first stage of pre-contemplation. You could decide to delay starting that journey until something forces you to change, like health or a job, but why not at least consider what's holding you back? Let's get started on this journey by discovering some reasons to consider making a change. Don't worry, you don't have to take any real action yet. That's in stage 4. We're simply going to reveal some pros and cons, which will help you see what's really going on in your mind. Use the following change exchange guide to get started. Step 1. To change or not to change. Write a list of all the reasons you think you can't or won't change, the cons. Then write a list of all the reasons you think you should change, the pros. Make it a simple list like this example of Isabella's list from my video about improving your life using the stages of change. Step 2. What's holding you back? Really? This step will help your mind begin separating out the reality from the story. Look again at your list and decide how important each con really is to you. Ask yourself which one is actually holding you back. Understanding your attitudes you really have toward the cons will help you resolve them faster, so you can add more pros that you'll be willing to contemplate on your journey toward positive change. There you have it. You're already moving yourself out of pre-contemplation and into the contemplation stage, the next Focus on Change series video. By focusing on the internal attitude changes that need to occur before taking physical action, you're much more likely to have a successful outcome. Wherever you are in this process of change, you can make progress. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and this is the Focus on Change series. See you in the next video. Subscribe to explore healthy change and more. There are so many things to contemplate about changing a habit or behavior. Like, is it really worth the effort? Do the pros really outweigh the cons? Are there too many things going on in life that get in the way of moving forward? Have you attended personal development seminars or read self-help books and then the change doesn't happen? With all the mixed messages from experts, the media, and friends all confusing you, it probably seems easier to decide not to decide. Does that sound like you? If so, you could be in the contemplation stage, the second of the 5 stages of change. Let's face it, even though you've been weighing the pros and cons, having doubts makes it easier to put that decision off. To really make a successful positive change and get it right, you'll want to remind yourself that change is a journey. In the pre-contemplation video of this series, we created a list of pros and cons to changing and reflected on our attitudes toward them. Let's continue on this journey by considering your own strengths that could support you through the process. Remember, you still aren't taking any real action yet. Use the following steps to guide you. Step 1. The pros. Continue gathering information like articles and videos that provide compelling reasons for changing that behavior and will help prepare your mind for the change. When your attitude is aligned with the change, it will be easier to see yourself in the new changed image. Step 2. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Take some time to really reflect and continue looking for any of those feelings or attitudes or thoughts you're holding on to so that you can start letting go of the cons and start focusing on the pros. Because whatever you focus on, that's what you'll see more of. Step 3. The wind beneath your wings, or who's got your back. Remind yourself of changes you've made in the past that were successful. Thinking about someone else who's been through the same change helps you realize that you can change also. This could be a friend, a relative, or someone you look up to. Who do you want to be related to this change? You really can make a change by continuing the journey through the stages. Wherever you are in the process of change, you can make progress. In the next video, I look forward to guiding you through the preparation phase. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and this is the Focus on Change series. See you in the next video. Subscribe to explore healthy change and more. Welcome to the Focus on Change series. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and I'm delighted to guide your progress through the preparation stage, the third of 5 stages of change. This stage is one of the most critical for a successful long-term change to happen. You're probably in the preparation stage if you've been thinking about making a change and you're feeling some confidence toward changing that habit or behavior. You've considered the pros and the cons, started figuring out who can help provide moral support for this change, and you are mentally preparing to take action on that new habit. But are you really ready to take action? Have you found a clear motivation that compels you toward making a positive change? This stage will determine how successful and lasting your behavior change will be. How much you prepare allows you to handle all the possible setbacks you may encounter when you take action. Just like preparing for a journey before taking the first step on it, you need to prepare for all the possible roadblocks as you navigate your way through taking action. This means both internally and physically, such as charting your preparation SOS, supplies, options, and support. When you take time to mentally commit before you physically commit any actions, you'll have a much more successful change experience. It may take a few months to work out all these critical pieces before moving to the next stage of actually taking action. Follow these steps in the Change Exchange Guide to help you through this stage and prepare you for the action stage. Step 1. Supplies. What supplies or equipment do I need to make this change? Step 2. Options. What's my action plan? What are my potential roadblocks, and what are my options for getting past them? Step 3. Who can help me past my potential roadblocks? Who will help me stay accountable? Remember, wherever you are in the process of change, you can make progress. In the next video, I look forward to guiding you through this action phase. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and this is the Focus on Change series. See you in the next video. Subscribe to explore healthy change and more. Ready, set, action! Realizing that change is a multi-step process involving mental as well as physical preparation is a key step in your journey toward being ready to take action. If you spent enough time preparing for your journey of changing a behavior or a habit, then you are actively applying all that preparation into your actions. Congrats on making it to the action stage in the Stages of Change model. This is the 4th of 5 stages. Even though you've spent the time and the effort preparing for taking action, you may still hit a wall or two, or even temporarily drop back into the old patterns throughout the transition. Stress happens. That's okay. Research informs us that when you spend about 6 months of regular practice in your new habit or behavior, you'll be feeling much more consistently confident about your change. That's why it was so important to spend the necessary time in the preparation stage from the previous video, so that you can recognize the roadblocks and can move through them more efficiently, because you've taken time to prepare for them. Borrowing from the saying, what you focus on grows stronger. Focus on the wonderful new you while you're taking action. If you're planning to lose weight, focus on your updated self-identity or image of who you'll be when you reach and maintain your goal. Recognize that you need to update your trigger activities as well, meaning you might want to stock different foods in your house if your stress go-to is snack or junk food. Use these steps in the Change Exchange Guide to keep your journey successfully moving your new action into long-term consistency. Step 1. Track your new behavior on a chart or a list. This helps create accountability. Step 2. Find new healthy settings and people where you are encouraged to enjoy your new behavior. Step 3. Make sure you have accountability partners that will help you stay motivated on your journey. Wherever you are in the process of change, you can make progress. Enjoy the journey. In the next video, we'll focus on guarding the maintenance stage. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and this is the Focus on Change series. See you in the next video. Subscribe to explore healthy change and more. Sometimes circumstances outside your control can stress you out temporarily, and your "got this" may turn into "why this?" As in, why was that change so good? You may be tempted to fall back into former patterns or thoughts. So even though you got this for now, it's critical to remember change is a journey, not a destination. You'll want to guard yourself from those minor setbacks on your journey by continuing to remind yourself of those preparation SOSs from the previous video. You'll also want to avoid the triggers from your previous behavior patterns by focusing on those options and substituting new patterns for the old ones. Use these steps from the Change Exchange Guide to help you effectively maintain the maintenance stage and continue to celebrate the new you. Step 1. Remind yourself how much better you feel in your new life, and treat yourself to a reward, such as attending events related to your new behavior, to renew and regain your commitment. Step 2. Review your preparation SOSs. Remember why you changed, and update your behavior goals and your pitfall options. Step 3. Share your journey with others. The best way to stay committed is to teach or share with others your journey. Be sure you've already watched the previous Stages of Change videos so you'll successfully and confidently manage your change. Wherever you are in the process of change, you can make progress. Have a great journey. I'm Dr. Wendy Guess, and this is the Focus on Change series. Subscribe to explore healthy change and more.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first Tuesday Times Roundtable of the 2017-18 school year. If you're new to the Tuesday Times Roundtable family, please note that we do this most Tuesdays during the fall and spring. We start on the second Tuesday of the semester and run for 13 weeks. If you missed some of the flyers at the front, we do have flyers with the schedule for the entire semester, so you can know exactly what we're talking about and who you're going to be talking with in advance, and you can join us as much as you'd like for free lunch. Also, this is part of two other broader initiatives out of Global Learning. If you're not already signed up for the Global Learning Medallion, of which there's also a flyer up there for, a circular flyer, every single one of these sessions counts as a point towards earning our Global Learning Medallion Award, and there are a bunch of other great opportunities that come through the medallion as well once you sign up. So I can always chat about that later, and you can grab one of those flyers. But if you're here, you might as well be earning our award at the same time. And this is part of the New York Times Readership Program. For those of you that have been around prior to this academic year, you will recall New York Times newspapers around campus that are no longer there physically, but the access has not gone away. We have expanded access by making sure every single person in the FIU community gets to access the New York Times online every day, rather than just the number of people that were able to get a copy before they were gone. I have flyers up there about that as well. If you go to accessnyt.com, you can sign up and get your access and get the New York Times online every day. So without further ado, I'd like to do a brief introduction of today's moderator. Wendy Guess is an instructor in the Department of Marketing and Logistics here at FIU. She holds her PhD in Public Health Education and Promotion from Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas. Her area of expertise include health and fitness marketing, and she teaches courses here including health and fitness marketing and introduction to marketing, and one relevant to global learning, marketing management in the global environment. So I look forward to a great and interactive discussion. Take it away, Professor Guess.
Hello, hello. Are we on? Yay. Oh, and by the way, my health and fitness marketing class has recently received the Global Learning designation. So I'm excited about that. And what happened to our... There it is. Okay. So a fortuitous accident in the titling of this, and that you're eating, decided to call it Me, My Gut, and I. We've heard the saying me, myself, and I, but this is me, my gut, and I. There's a lot of talk out there that today you'll see it just about everywhere you go, and including some of the articles that we're highlighting today in the New York Times, talking about gut health. What are we putting in our gut? So we're going to look at that and make a curious case of digesting healthy change. So have you seen these guys? I know, maybe not be the most appetizing thing while you're eating. Do you know what they are? Well, besides cartoons. What? Bacteria. Yes, we like to call them germs, but actually these are the bacteria that live in our gut and all over our body. Some of them are actually very beneficial. Some of them aren't. Depending on where we go, we may have different collection of these bacteria. We're going to focus today on the ones that hang out in our gut. The microbes. All right, so we have a little thing going on here. we've got the mystery of the vanishing microbiomes. And you're like, what is a microbiome? Well, those are all those little critters that hang out in our gut area. And we're finding that throughout the world, we all have a different collection of these microbiomes. You'll find cultures and the very remote cultures that have one mix, and then where we are here in how should we say, developed world or differently developed world, we have another mix. It's almost as unique as your DNA. Pretty cool, right? Just say yes. Yes, it's really cool. Okay. So what happened to these? We're finding out that they're missing. What happened and where did they go? We're going to go on a little mystery and put on our little detective hats, like I used to say to my little kids. We're going to put on our detective hats and figure out what's going on with those. First stage of any good sleuth gathering is to get some clues. Gather some clues. Figure out what are they, get the background information. Or as I say in my research class, gathering the background data, right? So we're going to figure out what is it about, who am I, what is the me, my gut, and I thing all about? Because before we can make some hypotheses, we need to understand what we're dealing with. Agreed? Good deal. I know, just while you're chewing. Chew on that, right? Okay, so let's first look at the me. And this is how, just for the record, this is how I'm interpreting the me, my gut, and I. Right? You all may have different interpretations, but this is just how I'm interpreting it. So the me is like the physical me. My body, my arms, legs, all of those different things. Also included is my ego, which may or may not be our best friend sometimes. But the how we think about ourselves, what we think about ourselves. Okay? So that's the me. Then we have the gut, or my gut, your gut, whoever's gut. We have the digestion system, all right? And so that's housed in the whole gut. You can say from the mouth where we start chewing, that starts our digestion process all the way down to, yes, the elimination aspect of the digestive process. And all the tubes in between, the small intestines, large intestines, stomach, pancreas, liver, all the way down. So along also in the gut, which we may or may not know, is where a lot of our immune system components are. So immune system and digestive system. Connection? On purpose? Maybe. And then, of course, the waste management system. I know, it's a horrible topic to be talking about while you're eating. So we'll bypass that very quickly. But just so you know, we've got those two, really the two main systems, digestion, in the immune system. Okay? And then we move over to the I. And this is the part of us that I like to equate with like our life, our values. Who are we? What are we about? What do we do because of who we are? What are our dreams and aspirations? And even to an extent, what is our intuition? Like, you know that little feeling you get when you just know you're supposed to call someone and then you call them and they're like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about you. I was just about to call you. Have you had that happen? Yeah, so that's a form of our intuition. And we call it different things. Maybe it's being connected or just in tune, or you're like on the same vibration or same vibe, something like that. So it's that piece of us that is intuitively connected to our surroundings, and that then correlates to our value system. You all as younger people, students of learning, has no age. We should be lifelong learners. And as we learn more and more, we begin to separate, if you will, the value system of our parents or those that influenced us, and then we hopefully find and discover and create our own value system. And a lot of what you're learning here at FIU is not just about subjects and future careers, but also how your opinions as adults, what you value, who you value, will you do this or do that? All those things, because of what you're learning, become part of your own personal value system. And then, of course, our dreams, which another way of saying our dreams are not necessarily the kind you have at night while you're sleeping, but your goals and aspirations, the things you want to accomplish in life. You know, obviously you're here not only just to learn, but hopefully to get a decent job afterwards. That's hopefully related to something you're learning about here at school. And so it's like, after that, where do you want to be? What are your dreams? Where do you want life to take you? Right? So that's what I equate with the I. Okay? So we have the me, myself, or my gut, and I. So now that we've gathered a few clues, let's see what the connections are as we're continuing our clue gathering. So Hippocrates, a lot of people associate him with the sayings about let food be thy medicine, medicine be thy food, and also may have said all diseases begin in the gut. So what did we just learn? What else is in the gut? Those bacteria guys. Yeah, gals, whatever, critters. Intuition. And what system is also in our guts? Our immune system. So doesn't that make sense now? Do you see the connection? Our immune system is what helps us ward off disease and infection. And if that's also in the gut, along with our digestive process and along with all those microbiomes, then what inferences could we make? Yeah, I know. I'm asking you to think at lunchtime, right? Come on, get some logic going here. What? Disease as connected to emotions? Ooh, good one. Yeah. What else could we infer about our immune system, our microbes in our gut, and the digestion? You heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Or you just going to say that? Yeah. So another way of saying that is life and death begin in the gut. Food for thought, pun intended. Right? And then, so we know from science a huge proportion of our immune system is actually in your GI tract, or your gastrointestinal tract, another fancy way of saying your gut. Okay. So that's getting kind of interesting. Now, here's something I'd like you to think about. Over the years, you've probably heard and maybe said some phrases or sayings that might have to do with your gut. Can you think of any? What? What? Louder. A gut feeling. Yeah, so what is that, like an instinct? Intuition? What else? I know you've heard some. What? Danielle, I'm going to pick on you. What's another one? No, I'm just she works in her office, so I can pick on her. So can you think of another ones? Maybe some of the little kids say in the playground? There you go. I hate your guts. Like, I don't even know your guts. How do I know? Right? What are some others that might be out there? When you've had a really, really just tough experience. What? Yeah, it does kind of like just, It does. It kind of like literally hits you in the gut, even though it is maybe emotional. You want to see some other sayings? Because, you're so talkative here. Okay, here's some. Can you all see those? Here's a gut feeling, like you were saying. A gut reaction. Blood and guts. Bust a gut. Gut check. Gut factor. Gut feeling. Gut instinct, again. Gut reaction. Oh, that's up there twice. A gut reaction to something. I know, it's like redundant. Okay, let's look at some more. That, like you were talking about, the gut wrenching, the gut wrenching experience. Oh, you just like feel twisted. Have you ever felt like butterflies in your stomach? Like, are there really butterflies in there? Or what do you think's in there making that feeling? Oh, anxiety. Yeah, probably more emotions. Okay, so let's look at, and there you go. You said, like, hate someone's guts. Have the guts to do it, which kind of infers like courage, right? Let's see. My gut tells me, no guts, no glory. So kind of back to courage a little bit. And that's a rather literal one, sorry. Puke one's guts out. Spill your guts. Now, are we really talking about actually spilling out what's in your gut? Or what are we talking about there? Like, yeah, like talking about your emotions, which, where are they? Hanging out? All over, yeah. And then, of course, yell one's guts out, like that must be like extra mad. Not just mad, but extra mad, okay? So we have all of these sayings that now are connected to our gut. Have you ever thought about those before? Why do we have sayings that have to do with our gut? These have been around long before we knew about the immune system and the digestion and the microbes. So where did those sayings come from? There's no right or wrong here. I mean, just speculation, right? We're still clue gathering. And clue gathering, right. So what do you think? Where could they have come from? There was a lot of, probably a lot more emotional intelligence or emotional wisdom we had over the years than we really truly understand. So all of these references to our gut really have to do with that emotional connection, maybe. Let's see what else. Now that we've kind of covered a few areas of what the me, myself, and I is about and the guts, now we're ready to start looking at the issue with the microbes. So the researchers tell us that some of the breeds or brands, or I'm not sure what you call them, not brands, but some of these little critters are going extinct. How is that happening? Like we have actually, I can't remember the right number, but it's trillions of these little microbes hanging around our bodies. Like there's more of these than there are of cells in our body. So we're actually more bacterial than we are human. But we've got some species that are dying out. So why do you suppose that is? Diet changed? Yeah. Ooh, you guys are smart. Increase in processed foods. Yeah. Different things happening there. Here's some things that we're learning. When we go and visit like more remote villages and tribes and cultures that are not, that are kind of like more the same as they have been for thousands of years, we find that if we test their whole gut flora balance, they have 50% more variety in the little critters than we do as average Americans. So how did that happen? Well, just like you said, changes in diet, changes in stress, different ways of dealing with emotions. Here are some theories. We've got some researchers are saying that it's due to antibiotics. That when we take the antibiotics, they kill out everything, all the good and the bad bacteria. And their theory is that it's harder for the body to replenish on its own, so some of the species don't come back. Then we also have, like, you know, we wash our hands a lot with what kind of soap? Antibacterial soap. We are like germophobics today, not necessarily in a bad way, no judgment call. We're very aware of germs and the germ spreading function. So by using all the antibacterial soaps, we're also removing some of the species that hang out on the outside of our bodies. Again, these are theories. Also, there's an interesting theory about some of the water we drink. Like tribes and villages like this one, the Yanomamis, they, I believe, are in a remote area of Peru. Venezuela. Excuse me. Thank you. In South America. And the other thing they notice is they don't have any, you know, they just drink the water that they have. So on the one hand, not having filtered water, it doesn't, you know, prevent the spreading of germs. But on the other hand, in this particular article that was discussed, the regular water also allows us to come in contact with more of the bacteria that informs our immune system what is and what isn't good bacteria, which then makes our immune system smarter, right? Or able to impact that. Make sense? Interesting connections, yeah? I think it's fascinating. Not that I like to study all these little critters, but I just think it's very fascinating to understand like this whole ecosystem we have inside and outside of our bodies and how that may be impacting us more than we realize. The last category or theory is dietary. And like you all were saying, changes in diets and eating more processed food. When we're eating processed food, what's happening? Just on a basic level. Well, let me rephrase that question. Live food, plant food, what's on those plants? What's in the soil around those plants? Well, hopefully before the chemicals. Naturally occurring, what would be around those plants and on those plants? More of those lovely little critters, right? So the beneficial ones, when we eat plant foods and more food from nature, we're now getting access to more of those varieties of species. Some of them are not so good, but most of them actually are beneficial or complementary. Now what happens, and I know you're probably thinking this, well, like what about like some of the issues we go when we like go to a different country? Don't drink the water, don't eat this, don't eat that, you could get this disease or that disease. We have our own, our own collection of the darling little critters. When we go to other countries, they have a different collection. So it takes sometimes a while for our immune system to get caught up. And that's why we have reactions and diseases when we travel sometimes. Or like the thing with E. coli and this and that. It takes a little while for our immune system to get caught up on what are the beneficial ones and what aren't, okay? So that's another category. Now, the big question of the day, well, can we fix this? I don't know, can we? I gave you sort of the answer, yeah. Well, since the beginning of time, we've been doing things to impact our immune system and our digestive system. So let's look at a few of these. The article that this presentation is all based on was, can I test my microbiomes or my gut balance, my gut flora? And the answer is yes, but what does it tell us? Well, right now they're in the stages where they can give you a lot of information about what species you have, but we still don't understand enough for that test to be necessarily beneficial to tell you what to do about it, right? So yeah, you can go get your it's almost like a DNA profile, but it's a microbiome profile. Interesting, right? So that we can get gut tested, see where we are, make some diet changes or something like that. We can also do something like colonics, which you may or may not have heard about. There's different words for it, hydrocolon, several different terms for it, which is essentially cleansing out the intestinal tract. I know, again, bad subject while you're eating. But a lot of cultures, even we've traced it back to early Egyptian, like 1500 years BC, have references to seasonal and dietary and kinds of cleansing activities that they would do to keep the colon fresh, right? And then we also have, which you probably are hearing more and more about, things like detoxing or colon cleansing in a different way. So we're now consuming certain foods to flush out the digestive tract, if you will. And those can include things like, if you see up here the category of herbs, herbs are really good for that process. Actually, did you know that the more you prepare foods with herbs, the better it helps your digestive process. So we didn't just use herbs and seasonings in food because, ooh, it looks fun or it tastes better. We actually had a medicinal therapeutic value for using those herbs. So you can see some of the herbs there. Of course, things like the probiotic yogurt. They have the active cultures in them that help replenish and rebalance what's going on in here. We have fermented foods, which is kind of regaining some interest or popularity out there. So what's a fermented food? Well, yogurt's a fermented food. You ever had pickles? Pickles are somewhat in a fermented process. Which one? Tempeh, yes. The Korean one, remember what that's called? Kimchi, yes. All of these are fermented. Or they've been exposed through a process to the other elements in the air that start creating a breakdown process that allows us to then impact our gut flora. You can make your own fermented foods very easily by adding sugar to a substance like beets. You can put beet juice or beets in a jar and add some sugar, wait a few days, and it starts getting a little fuzzy. Certain beverages have gone through a fermentation process, which I won't mention. But have you heard of the drinks now that's like kombucha? Okay, so that's essentially, it's a fermented tea. It's gone through a few stages of that process, so now it has extra bacteria that are now beneficial for us. Then we've got, you probably are seeing this more and more in the grocery stores, pre and probiotics. So the probiotics are like things like in the yogurt, or you can go get tablets. Now, if you go to the digestion section of the grocery store, instead of seeing just things like Tums and antacids, you're seeing also now these probiotic. So we actually need our variety of darling critters to help us digest. Isn't that interesting? Then we have the fiber-rich foods, which unfortunately we forget to eat a lot of. But used to be, that's all we did have access to. Whatever, we were much more connected to fresh food, which has a lot of fiber in it. Okay? But now that we're eating less fresh food, we don't get the same amount of fiber. Okay, here's some food for thought. Now that you have some information about all these little darlings, yeah, we're going to chew on that for a while. So I just had to put this little cartoon in there. Come on, Bob, didn't you hear the CEO? We all need to embrace change. Right? So we all know change is hard, and we like what we eat. We don't want to change it. It's not so fun. But let's look at a few ways of how we might go about making some changes to rebalance and get reconnected with our little gut flora. Okay, yes. There. So the curious case of digesting healthy change. I want to propose another theory. You all have mentioned, and we talked about the idea of intuition residing around the emotions and being connected to our immune system and our digestive system. So think about this one. What if our intuition is being blocked by the kinds of food we're eating or not eating? What if we're actually making us less able to be creative and intuitive because of our diets? You all have probably experienced at some point eating a nice huge meal, maybe Thanksgiving or some other type of holiday meal. And how do you feel like afterwards? Like numb, right? We had this saying a while back when my kids were little, stuffed stupid. Like you're so full that you just feel, for lack of a better word, like just numb, right? So think about if we are constantly eating foods like that make us numb, are we open to that process of intuition? Little thought there. So then if that's the case, would we want to make any changes? Just saying, I mean, no right or wrong here. It's just a theory. If we know that, would we be more inclined to make some changes? If we want to feel more creative and intuitive, if we want to get that homework done faster, if we want to get that learning happening faster, would we want to fuel ourselves with the kinds of foods and support for our immune system that would allow that to happen? Bye. So now that we know some of that, there also is some research and suggestion that, going along with the previous slide about disease begins in the gut. So what kind of diseases are in our gut, or could be in our gut? Well, we have all kinds. We have everything from colon cancer to cancer of the liver, stomach, all over the digestive area. My father recently had a bout of cancer with his esophagus, esophageal tube. So he had a tumor growing right here where it's like where the food passes into the stomach area. So it wasn't able, the little flap wasn't able to move because the tumor was in the way. So we're having all kinds of issues and diseases related to a healthy gut or a lack of a healthy gut. Now, here's a comment. I don't know if you'd like to post in Twitter and whatever, record that you were here. But here's one of those moments if you'd like to. If a healthy gut is key to a healthy immune system, then healthcare and wellness have a marketing mismatch, or you could say a message mismatch. Right? So let's think about that one again. Healthy gut is key to a healthy immune system. We know there's a connection. So what are we treating? a lot of times in the healthcare protocol. So I would venture to say that we have a mismatch in our messaging. And I'd like to recommend or create a few options here. Hopefully we can get that messaging rematched, all right? Now let's say we decided we like the concept of being more intuitive, more creative, more productive. We want to make some changes. Or we want to help someone else go through some of those, make some dietary or lifestyle changes. How do we inspire and influence that change so that it's successful and it's long-lasting and it's healthy? Well, of course, you can demand it. You will eat this or else. Or you can manage it and be a supporter of it. So we find in the behavior science research that there's stages that we go through coming from one spot, one frame of thinking into another frame of thinking or mindset or taking action. Like most of the change, let's say we want to switch out and add some more dietary fiber. We want to add more plant-based foods into our diet. Well, most of the change happens before, or proper change, I should say. Most of that's going to happen before we ever start eating something different. So we have to help ourselves and others go from non-compliance, like that stuff's for rabbits, and I don't eat rabbit food. That would be non-compliance, to embracing change. How do we get there? Well, let's look at some of the steps. So here's a couple of things. We've got marketing and behavior science combined together, help us go from the non-compliance, I'm not touching that rabbit food, to, okay, well, maybe more than rabbits, just eat it. Okay, so like, maybe if horses eat grass, it's not so bad. And I'm talking about grass, lawn grass, not the other kind. Just checking. All right, so part of it is developing that awareness. Well, you all have been now made aware that there's a connection between our gut flora system and our immune system and our intuition and our disease and all of that. So now that you have awareness, we have to help you, or you have to help your friends, get from being aware to being willing to write a pros and cons list where hopefully the pros are outweighing the cons. Like, well, if I do this, I could put some seasonings and spices on it, and then it doesn't taste so much like rabbit food. And there's ways. Or I could make a smoothie with it, and then I don't know what's in there that's healthy. And so, we find ways to trick ourselves, right? But the most important part of going through any kind of a behavior change is understanding the preparation piece. Because a lot of times we're just going to go, all right, I'm ready to change. I'm going to just totally become I don't want to say vegetarian because I want to make sure we are talking about plant-based foods. I'm just going to eat plants only. But we have no idea how to cook or how to prepare, how to interact with produce. So how long is that change going to last? Or maybe like one bite. Okay, I ate an apple today. Woo! Right? I'm done. But we want to make sure that we take the time to actually prepare, to go through that kind of a change. So what do we need to do to prepare? Learn. What do we want to learn about? Like, if we're going to go more plant-based, what do we need to learn about? How to prepare it. What else?
What to look for specifically.
What to look for. Yeah, like is it ripe? Is it not? Where does it grow? How does it grow? Do I want to eat plants in the season and grown locally? Do I want to eat plants from anywhere in the world? Do I want organic or do I care? All of those aspects we need to learn about. How would I prepare spinach? I have a tree in my backyard growing called shea tree. It's from parts of Mexico. And its nickname is tree spinach. But guess what? If you eat that tree spinach like raw, it gives you a major, major upset stomach. So we have to cook it. You can make tea out of it. You can make it like a cooked spinach, right? But all those things, we need to know what to do with the plants and how people might have prepared them in the past to get the most out of it. The preparing ourselves to make a lifestyle change is the most critical part. We need to develop that support system. Are your friends and roommates gonna adopt this change with you? Are they going to help support you? Or is somebody going to call you up and say, how are you doing today? Are you eating well? Got your plants? Okay, all that stuff. We want to make sure that we really get all the pieces in place before we ever start taking action. Because if we do it beforehand, we'll stop, we'll be unsuccessful. All right, once we do get ready and prepared and we take action, then we're set. We've got our motivations, we got our support group, we're making those lifestyle changes. We might falter a little bit because it is a transition and your body's going to go, what are you doing to me? And then sometimes I can tell you personally, after consuming a lot more herbs, I know this is going to sound weird, but I actually have a natural energy buzz when I am consuming more herbs. Like, who needs an energy drink? But then it's easy to forget and get off the bandwagon. So we have to keep pushing ourselves back on that bandwagon. Not buying the foods that we don't want to consume and only surrounding ourselves with the people and the kinds of foods that we do want to be around. Okay? And then managing it. Once we've developed that habit, 3 to 6 months, now it's just about keeping ourselves in the right frame of mind. And I'll be the first to tell you that that's more challenging than you think. But then sometimes our body is going to go, you ate that, I am revolting. And it's going to give you an upset stomach or some kind of reaction to let you know that it didn't like it. We're going to do an experiment here in a little bit to find out some of those, to actually find that out before we eat it. Okay, so your mission, should you decide to accept, is to take on the idea that true healthcare reform starts in your, well, kitchen too, but gut. Yes. So we want that to start in your gut. How are we doing on time? All right, so we got enough for our experiment and some Q&A. All right, so in kind of winding that section down, I'd like you to give your gut a life-changing experience. Literally, life-changing. Okay?
By Academic Video Services within the Division of Information Technology at Florida International University.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's Tuesday Times Roundtable. I see some of our regular faces, but in the event that you're here from Dr. Guess's class and have not otherwise been to a Tuesday Times Roundtable, I'm going to recruit you to go ahead and continue to come to these every Tuesday. On the front table where you sign in, if you didn't grab one, these blue schedule cards have the moderator and the topic of what we're talking about every single Tuesday. We're here every week, same time, same place, similar food, and the topics are pretty interesting. We have things going on about the social messages behind the Olympic ceremony that happened recently, business ethics and human trafficking, civility and freedom of speech is happening on Election Day. So that's just 4 of the 6 remaining sessions after today. So you can come join us for lunch on those days as well. And then if you grab this yellow circular flyer and sign up for this program. Every session you attend gets you one step closer to earning our Global Learning Medallion, where you can actually wear this Global Learning Award to graduation, which entails a combination of things, including not only events like this, but internships, studying abroad, getting involved in clubs, service trips, taking global learning classes, and you get a lot of those opportunities sent to you once you're signed up, and some of them are even exclusive to Global Learning Medallion students. So a little self-promotion at my event because I can do that. So, but the reason we're here today is our moderator, Dr. Wendy Guess. Dr. Guess recently joined the FIU Department of Marketing to develop the Health and Fitness Marketing course and certificate program, which are meant to address the growing demand in those industries. She teaches as well marketing research. Her background and experience combines health promotion, marketing, nutrition, fitness, and social dance with her dynamic energy to the new program. Her vision is to continue to put South Florida on the map for all things health and fitness. Sounds like an amazing goal to me, and it sounds like very interesting programs here at FIU to do that. So thank you for being here, Dr. Guess.
Hello. Hello. Oh, we're on. Hi, everyone. How are you? Good. Is this like the best Tuesday ever? Oh, just say yes. Help me out here. Just say it's the best Tuesday ever because you're here. You're doing things that make you better students and better individuals for life. So like we said, as you'll notice, hopefully you all got one of the articles. And the article from the Tuesday Times Roundtable was all about the Wonder Cure. What's the Wonder Cure, so it says? I know. Who would have thought, right? So I have a question for you all. How many of you have been to the doctor ever? Okay. Has any doctor ever prescribed that? Everyone, they're starting to say this. I'm so excited to hear that. The message is getting out there. But there's still a lot of healthcare providers that aren't sharing this message yet. So why do you think it's so important that we have a whole, New York Times article about it? Well, so we have in the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges last year, they said in one of their articles that prevention is better than the cure. Let's think about that one for a minute. Prevention, better than a cure. So you've all heard a few sayings about prevention, yes? Stitch in time saves 9. What are some others? Ounce of prevention, pound of cure. Yes, there's some others. And in the article, they also said it was the best buy for public health. Woohoo! So why aren't we all just like jumping on the exercise bandwagon? Well, we'll come to that. Study after study. In the article, they probably referenced almost 100 different articles that have been done about exercise. From a medical perspective, from an exercise physiology perspective, from just a good overall wellness perspective. They looked at a variety of different studies that all came up pretty much with the same conclusion. Exercise is good for us. Go figure. So let's all jump up and do some exercise, right? Okay, no lunch first, I know. All right, so just to give you kind of a quick overview, some of the studies listed in the article had to do with like exercise and its benefits on chronic disease. Now I can tell you as a Lyme's disease survivor, if that's the right word, I had Lyme's disease about 15 years ago, and it was not a fun time. And but I can definitely tell you that for me, certain kinds of exercise didn't work because of the after pain that it would cause. But guess what the most awesome exercise that helped me heal through Lyme's disease was? It involves music. A certain kind of music. Local to this area. Salsa, yes. Salsa was the music that for me helped cure. Interestingly enough, I'm also a dance and music kind of history buff. This is sort of off topic, but it's kind of cool because you'll like it. So salsa is a mixture of many different rhythms, including some of the percussion rhythms of West Ghana. And West Ghana drumming and percussion have a certain rhythm that is just for healing. And guess what? That rhythm is also found in salsa music. So I didn't know at the time, but I found out years later that I literally was helping my body heal by moving to music. Okay, moving on. Musculoskeletal diseases and issues, okay? So it's like when we don't move, our body doesn't want to move. It's like a whole physics thing, right? What is some of the laws of physics? It's easier for an object to stay in motion than it is to start the motion, right? So same with our bodies. We were designed to move. We have levers and joints and things that make us efficient movers if we're in good posture. So I know when I don't get enough activity, my lower back gets kind of out of whack and my knees start to grumble at me. You've probably heard that. All right, and if you haven't, you'll start feeling the little crunchy kringles in your knees when you bend. Anybody there yet? You will be. Okay. Pain management, exercise and breathing is also an excellent. Hey, welcome. We got some great front row seats right here. Yes, and cardiovascular and aerobic. Well, that's sort of a no-brainer, right? Because moving requires oxygen. It's just good for us. There's been some studies on depression, some studies on mobility, some studies about the benefits of exercise, particularly aerobic exercise with diabetes, prevention and care, and what's the opposite? You can get rid of certain types of diabetes through exercise and diet. You don't have to have it. I hear sound somewhere. My students know I'm like kind of, how would you say this? I'm an ADD professor, presenter. So I hear, do you hear this? Oh, okay. That's what I'm hearing. All right. So here's your first little quotable of the day. If you are so inclined to want to share and promote all the incredible information you're getting here at the Tuesday Times Roundtables, snap a picture. I know you all have your phones out. Go ahead. Snap a picture. Throw it up on your social media. Let's be engaged. No, it's okay, really. Get your phones out. So we'll have a few of these. So, yeah, I'd like you guys to be involved. It just says, that you're you got it going on, right? Okay, so here's the first thing. If exercise is the wonder cure, then healthcare and wellness have a marketing mismatch, right? Because what is most of our doctors still prescribing? Well, we'll just say everything but exercise, right? And we would like the prescription to be more about exercise. And I don't mean just, the grunt in the gym kind of exercise, but movement. Movement is a good thing. All right? So here's where the marketing mismatch happens, both in branding, promotion, education, and protocol. Do you realize that thanks to our infinite wisdom in education curriculum, you have maybe 2 health classes, if you're lucky, and a few physical education classes throughout your whole 12 years? And then, and one of those might be a health class specifically, and then we don't require it in college. So where are you supposed to become health literate or knowledgeable about health, wellness, and fitness? Where does that happen? Yeah, you have to go find it out on your own. That, to me, is where we have a huge mismatch. That should be our number one priority to teach all of us. Because without a healthy body, what good is our brain? Think about that one. Okay, I know I need to find like a... All right, so let's look at maybe the real cure. So balancing in healthcare and wellness changes. So we do need to make some changes or to match up the marketing message. All right, and for those of you that are not marketing majors, I'm not referring to like sales and promotion or advertising. I'm referring to the entire process of everything that goes involved in creating an exchange, whether it's an exchange of ideas, an exchange of an experience, and an exchange of cash for a product. Okay, all those are exchange systems. And marketing talks about everything involved in producing that exchange, from the interaction to how do we brand it, how do we label it, how do we package it, how do we ship it. All of those things involved in inform marketing, and then finally they inform the sales process. Okay, but let's jumping back into balancing healthcare and wellness changes. So we have changes at work, changes at home, and changes with ourselves. So here's another one of those click, click moments. Hint, hint. We have a couple chairs right there. Just saying, if you want to grab your phones out and social media this and post it up there somewhere and just say, hey, yeah, look where I was today, because I'm a smart student. All right, so here's an interesting concept I want you guys to think about. I know we're going to use the term customer very loosely. But a healthy customer is a loyal customer. Now, we're not talking just about the customer that buys something. We're talking about, to your physician, you, the patient, are the customer. To parents, their children are the customer. To educators, our students are the customer. So to all of our customers, when you're healthy, you're more loyal, because we've taken care of you. All right, so let's just kind of brainstorm here for a minute, because I've talked long enough. It's your turn. So what is a loyal and healthy customer? Never complains about the price? Interesting. Although, if we're not talking about, let's say, for example, to add on to that, maybe it's not a monetary price, maybe it's a commitment price. We might hesitate, but if we really get the big picture and if we're really feeling healthy, then yes, we wouldn't be complaining, except the normal complaining. Let's see, you had your hand and then, so healthy students and employees, I think of the word productivity. We're going to be more productive, which is good for everybody. Right, because you're having such a good time with it that you want to bring your friends around too. Excellent. Okay. So here's a little concept. You can take a picture of that one too if you want. But that's from Brainy Quote. All right, and actually from Leo Tolstoy. Nice Russian author. Okay, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself or herself. Right? It's always easier to give the advice than to take it. I just want to throw that out there for, food for thought, because it's one thing to tell everybody else how we all need to change. It's another thing to be willing to go through that change of habit. So, we're going to pull in a few health and fitness marketing concepts because, hey, that's what I teach, and that's kind of my passion. So I got to spend my whole life being in health and fitness and promoting it, and now I get to teach and tell everything I ever loved to talk about to my students. It's all good. All right, so let's look at that. We want to be the people who are inspiring and influencing individuals to make positive, healthy change, because it just doesn't happen on its own. And it just doesn't happen when we flip on a switch and go, oh, I'm changed, new me. Right? It just doesn't happen that way. So we have to figure out the process of getting us to change, as well as inspiring others to be able to change habits, to get better habits. right? So in case, for those in the back, in case you can't read, it says, come on, Bob. Didn't you hear the NCO? We all need to embrace change. Of course, he's melting. But, and then this one I heard again recently, 2,000 plus years ago, a Roman statesman, I mean, he had it right on the money. If you wish to persuade me, you must think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and speak my words. It sounds like some other sayings we've probably heard more recently. I'm reminded of a Native American saying about, walk a mile in my moccasins. Y'all heard that one? And there's probably something in every language and culture that talks about that. So how do we inspire and influence change? Well, like we said, it just doesn't happen like that. I mean, yes, you might have a heart attack and then something changed, but that doesn't mean your habits still will change. So we want to figure out the process. What are the steps to making change happen successfully? Because we can all start a new habit for a week, and then stress gets in the way, right? Yeah, so we're finding that when we use the behavioral change sciences, as we are going through, the process of change, we're going to have a much more successful time with it. And so just really quick in a nutshell, those 5 stages of change identified in the trans-theoretical model, or stages of change, are what I call like kind of non-compliance, like forget it, I'm not doing this one. And that's pre-contemplation. I am like, don't even talk to me about it because it's not happening. Or maybe I just don't have time. Literally, I can't fit it. Okay? We're just not even thinking about it. All right? The next one, contemplation, it's like you've started to build some awareness. Like, yeah, okay, there's pros and cons. Yeah, I can kind of see where it would be a good idea. Yeah, I'm thinking about it anyway. All right? And then we have preparation. So like, this is the most critical part. And this is what most programs and prescriptions forget to do, is that whole process of preparing. Preparing to meet all the roadblocks, all the setbacks, all the stress moments, all those things that get in the way of really successful, long-term, healthy, positive change. That was a mouthful. All right? So when we spend time in the planning session, or the preparation stage, then things get to really happen because now we've prepared. We've got a support group in mind. We know who to reach out and call when we hit that wall and we think we can't go on. Well, after all of those, if you notice, they're kind of all like the inside of the mind things. And then we get to the action stage. That's where we actually take the steps towards change. But because we've prepared, we're ready. I mean, you wouldn't think of climbing, what's the mountain over there, the tallest, well, any mountain for that matter, but the really tall one? Yeah, I mean, would you go to Everest with just like what you're wearing on your back? Yeah, I mean, well, some of us probably would. But most likely, you'd have to go through some process of preparation before you are ready to climb. Okay? And that's what this is all about. Then we take action, and we got to take some consistent long-term action and get through all of those pitfalls, roadblocks, mental stops, all of that for about 6 months before we can really say that we're in maintenance mode. Now, does maintenance mode mean we're done with the journey? No, that just means we're not having to struggle with it every day. We can wake up and most, 99% of the time we're I'm good with this. You get in your car, hopefully, and you put your seatbelt on. You don't have to struggle with that decision still, I hope. Right? Yes? Okay. Things like that. So it's hopefully, we wake up in the morning, we take care of our, personal hygiene or teeth brushing, all those kinds of things are habits. They're decisions that we've already planned and prepared for, so we don't have to keep making. And that's where we want to get. So most of you have heard habits, this only takes 21 days. No, that's just to introduce yourself to the habit. But to really feel like you've made a change, you got to kind of go about 6 months. Not to deter you, but just to know that it's that's a more substantial goal. Okay, how are we doing on time? Almost good. Okay, so here's another one of those quotables. Wherever you are, in the process of change, you can make progress. And that's the good news of the day. Wherever you are, you can make progress. Now, in the article, he talks about just some little examples. In the article, the author, he's got some really cool videos on YouTube, too. So I would encourage you to go and watch some of them. Some very insightful, thoughtful pieces that he does. It's called Healthcare Triage, I believe. And so he talks about trying out some different exercise programs. And it took several before he found one that works for him. Right? And that's the whole idea. Any exercise program is good or bad. The difference is the one that's good is the one that you'll do. Right? Because, it can be the greatest thing in the world, but if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. So we want to find, you want to get out there and try a bunch of different ones. Find the one that works for you. In his case, the walk between his office and the other office, or the lab, I think it was, took about 30 to 45 minutes of his day, and he had to do it, and it was great, and it was just the right, time and pace for him. The great news is, even more so, in exercise, you don't have to be like the athlete, the Olympiad. That was the Olympians. You don't have to be that. The best kind of exercise we can do actually is the moderate to vigorous activity for about, 30 minutes to an hour a day. That's why I'm a little biased, but that's why dance is such the perfect activity, because you can do it for about an hour and you don't feel like you're working. And then you've got the music and hopefully some people or not, because, depending on if you're dancing like no one's watching or you're dancing like everyone's watching, you've got that support that sort of distracts you from the grunt of the work. And so literally, a few years ago, a lot of years ago, hi, we got space right down there. So, like sometimes it's one of those things you can keep going and you don't realize that you're getting all that wonderful activity in and all the good endorphins. The only downside is certain places haven't discovered that dance is really a good form of exercise, and they pair it with activities or locations that really aren't very healthy. Bars. Yeah. Right, so it's like here you are, you're trying to get all this wonderful, excellent oxygen breathing in, and there's over there smoking. You're like, I'm not. Yes, so be aware of your surroundings. Okay. Now, in my health and fitness marketing classes, and hopefully you too, we do some activities to help inspire positive, healthy change. So we're going to do a little activity now because you've been sitting for a few minutes listening to me. And now it's your turn. So hopefully if you'll turn to like a buddy next to you or two, maybe two or three, and just kind of pal around. And here's what I'd like you to do, because we're doing this project here on campus that I'm really excited about. We're looking for all the health, wellness, fitness, nutrition types of activities all over campus, and we're trying to create a database of all of those places to remind us that wherever we are in the process, we can make progress. And also to kind of highlight how we are, there are places everywhere to be healthy and well and fit and nutritious. So what I'd like you to do with your little neighbor, or two or three, is maybe on the back of your page, start writing down like things that you know of on campus that might fit into one of those four categories. And sorry if I don't have pens. Or type it on your phone. I don't care. Take notes in your notes on your phone, whatever that looks like. Okay? So take about 2 minutes really fast and just like kind of jot what you can from memory. Ready? Go. Actually, 1 minute.
What are we writing?
We're writing like the activities, like some
Healthy activities you can do?
You can do on campus.
On campus. Oh, okay.
You got about like 2 or 3 things on your list, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. So hopefully we all have at least 1 or 2 things. So I'm going to quickly, in your group, you're going to designate by finger pointing who's going to be the spokesperson. And then just graciously say thank you. To the people that chose you. Oh, I love this. They're doing the rock, paper, scissors. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to do like a rapid fire. Yoo-hoo. We're going to do a quick rapid fire around the room and starting, and just kind of weaving up and down the rows. And we're going to hear at least one idea from each of the partnerships. Ready? What? Question? Or you're just ready to go? So we're going to, you're ready? All right, so let's start right here, and we're just going to kind of weave on down. So spokespeople, watch who's gone right before you and get ready. Okay, rapid fire, Bill.
So taking the stairs versus taking the elevator.
Awesome. Next.
Going to the nature preserve.
Awesome. Over here.
Oh man, let's see, tennis or soccer.
Tennis or soccer. Awesome.
We did Breezeway.
Breezeway.
Like the one by the
What about it?
housing block. Well, you able to socialize.
Oh, socializing. Excellent. I'm glad you reminded that's like a good mental health thing. Okay, next.
Swimming at the Biscayne Bay campus using their pool.
Ooh, and we have nice buses that go over there back and forth too. Great. Next.
Eat healthier at Salad Creations, which is one.
Eat healthier. We do have a couple places on campus. Yes.
There's like a trail by the nature preserve that has like little workout areas.
Yes, aren't those fun?
Visiting the wellness center.
Visiting the wellness center. Awesome. Let's see. Let's go here.
CrossFit classes at the gym.
CrossFit classes at the gym. Does everybody know where our recreation center is? Well, you should. Okay, you're there.
It's
Okay.
part of the preserve.
Right, it's right next to the preserve, the dorms, and the arena, all that. Okay. Basketball court, yes.
Yoga.
Yoga. Does it have to be in the rec center?
Sure, yoga is the rec.
I mean, no, does it have to be?
Oh, no, not necessarily.
Right, because we have all these wonderful grassy areas that make great yoga hangouts. Okay. And you had a suggestion.
So clubs can even do as fundraisers. Some of our clubs have done this rather than bake sales and stuff. Do soccer tournaments, 5Ks, or healthy things that people can do.
Yes. Okay.
They do massages, acupuncture, meditation, CAPS.
Caps.
Psychological services, counseling services.
Counseling and psychological services. Really? They do massage?
Yeah, they do aerobic therapy.
Did you all hear that? We've got the awesomest campus. Okay, who's next? Oh, Zumba classes at the gym. Okay. All right, listen to the other half.
We can go to the bike shop by campus.
We have a bike shop to fix your bikes. Or rent them too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you just saying the gym?
There's a what?
The gym, just visiting the gym here?
Yes, they have exercise and track and all that kind of stuff. Okay, where's next? Yes.
Intramural sports.
Intramural sports. Awesome.
Just walking.
Walking. Yeah, we do that once in a while, don't we? Yeah.
Volleyball court.
Volleyball court by the pool. That was the three of you, right?
Maybe the smoothie place instead of Burger King.
That smoothie instead of Burger King. Yes. Okay.
FIU rugby.
FIU rugby. Woo! My son plays rugby. Yeah, that's a fun sport. Awesome. Look at all these incredible ideas that you guys came up with, right? Give yourselves a round of applause. Good job. Okay, that also kind of woke you up a little bit too. And you thought applause was just for fun. Okay, so how many of you are on Twitter? All right, here's who I want you to follow, like right now. Healthy Campus Week. Oh, I can't even read what it is. It's Healthy Living, FIU Healthy Living. Go follow them. Like, go follow everything FIU. Right? Just do a search FIU, and then all these other things will pop up, like FIU Marketing, all the FIU professors, all these activities. Did you know we have a farmer's market here on campus that's run by students, just like you all? Yes, I'm their faculty advisor. I'm so lucky. And yes, it's on Wednesdays from 10 to 2. Like now they're bringing all kinds of food in from different places. Well, not food, but like produce from local growers. And last week they made homemade guacamole right there. They sometimes will do juice, like freshly juiced juices. Herbal teas from some from the garden, some from various good sources. So there's like all kinds of really cool stuff going on campus. All right, now here's the question of the day. What's going to be your role in this wonderful process of change? So look, we got 4 roles to play. Which one are we going to choose? All right. The hero, the narrator. Okay, so let's kind of, just to help clarify, let's go over some of them. The victim. Oh, well, I just can't do it. Everybody's against me. The whole world is against me. Every time I try to exercise, I break my toe. And then I tried to go on a diet and it made me sick. Right? And it's like it's all everyone else's fault. Okay, that's the victim. Do we want to play that role? There's enough of us already out there playing that role. Okay, and then kind of on that same side, well, let's that same perspective, but the opposite. Instead of the victim, what if you were just the observer or the narrator of your life? Does that mean you have to be like emotionally bogged down by all the things happening to you? No, you're just kind of like reporting it. Oh, well, yeah, so this diet happened, and, well, this happened this first day. This is, I'm just going to jump out. If our athletes could jump into this mode more, the narrator mode, instead of the victim mode, they would play like in a completely different game. And then sports psychology talks about all this very issue right here. Are they the victim? Oh, man, the basket's messed up. The mound's messed up. It's like there's always an excuse, right? And we've heard them, we've seen them, we've probably done a few. But the narrator, what's the narrator going to do? Okay, so they're making their free throw shot. Let's see. Okay, the arc was maybe a little bit off, so I can adjust it next time and make it better. Right? You're just kind of playing it just telling it like it is. You don't have to get bogged down with all the emotions. Okay, then there's the villain. Right? They're the ones that wants to make the story they want to make you the victim. All right? And there's plenty of those out there too, but hopefully, we don't have to do that. And then there's the hero. Somebody said they wanted to be the hero. The hero is the one that's out there basically, let me help you get there. The only caution I would say to the heroes is don't forget to be your own hero too. Because sometimes you can get lost being everybody else's hero. Just a little food for thought there. Speaking of food. That was an awesome lunch, wasn't it? Yay. Thank you for an awesome lunch. All right. So to kind of wrap up here, remember our definition of customers? Give your customers, whoever they are, a life-changing experience. A good life-changing experience. So whatever your role is, whatever you're doing to make change, to make the world a better place, to make your world a better place. I saw a quote, the other one, it was kind of cute. I don't know if I put it in here. I didn't, darn it. So it was kind of like the difference between matter and change. So it's like when you're matter, unless you're, matter, it has to be like moving at twice the speed of light, and then your energy. So it's like be the energy that matters. Okay, so, but, give yourselves, give your customers, give everybody, whether you're in business, whether you're in education, entrepreneurial, whatever it is, give the people around you a life-changing experience. So with that, hopefully we can have some awesome discussion, and hopefully you'll share some of those wonderful ideas that you all came up with on campus. If you would please tweet at me. Would you really? Tweet those ideas at me, because we're compiling all those together in our class, because we want to really showcase how awesome FIU really is. All right, so thoughts, questions? Let's have it. Oh, there you are, sorry. Oh, yes, so I teach a course called Health and Fitness Marketing in the marketing department. And then I also teach, a really exciting one called marketing research. But that's where we put on our little detective hats and we try to figure out what people are really saying when they're not saying it. And then the health and fitness marketing is about applying these kinds of principles as we, help change lives. All right, so next question. Yes? Oh, it's in the breezeway, right outside the library, on Wednesdays between 10 and 2, tomorrow. How awesome is that? And I know they're going to be baking some really cool stuff tonight to share. What? They have some little, usually gluten-free muffins and stuff, but they taste awesome. You'd never know they weren't gluten-free. They bring the juices, the herbal teas. They have homemade soaps. Ooh, yeah. Homemade soaps. Last week they had some soy-based candles with lavender essential oil that I've just been smelling all week because it's that amazing. Yes. So all kinds of, and these are things being made by students. And then did you also know that we have our own student-run garden? All organic? It's in the nature preserve. They take care of it, yeah. And then there's classes that come out and study it, and so they always are happy to have volunteers. If you want to learn more about something, the best way is to go volunteer there. Right? And it's free education. And that brings up a really important way of sharing. Because, right, what did we say? Change is a journey? Oh, I don't know if I said that or not. Yeah, it is a process. Change is a process. Change is a journey. It's not a destination. So if we're all being the change that we want to see, thanks, Gandhi. If we're all being that change, then we're all on that journey. So if we're sharing on social media our journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the positives, the negatives, then it's like her, she's sharing her journey, and it's right. Yeah, here's the reality. Right. Yeah. So it's being real with it. Not just oh, look, here's the best workout of the day, right? But, talking about it. When you're posting, what would you rather read about? A cute picture or somebody's heartfelt experience around that picture? Great points, great points. And it really is about bringing it back home, because what's the whole point of being social anyway? I mean, social online. Isn't it to still find people to talk to, connect with, people that feel like you? Right. So it's if we're busy telling about everything else instead of us, then are we really connecting? Right. Yes. And that's what the conferences I've been to recently, that is the message of the day. That if you're really going to be an excellent company, an excellent marketing, excellent branding from a company perspective, then it's about reaching out and finding those personal connections, those personal stories. Because, we're done with the 5,000 ads a day that keep bombarding us. That's what they're saying it's up to now. Up to 5,000 ads we're being exposed to every day. Ew. Okay, so it's just kind of like, it's like ad pollution, if you will, right? And so, but what's really going to catch our eye? Somebody's real story, right? And that's what you're going to start seeing more of, thank goodness, is more, real stories. I don't know, if you follow the Facebook ads, and they're probably on Instagram as well, not ads, but, the little videos of some of the companies that have done some cool things over the years, like the flash mob done by T-Mobile years ago. Is it already that time? Going so fast. Right, the flash mob videos. So here on campus, our carry on to that is we do activities called Flash Fitness at FIU, right? Look for those. Generally on Wednesdays when I have class. But, just random ways to just jump in and do a little bit of fun. The kind of PE for adults that Didn't you guys have fun at PE classes? No? Sorry. Yeah, because, we had a lot of coaches that were not trained right. Hey, that's another whole story. We won't get into that one now. But yes, so, the social kind of things. Yes, did that? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, so the default is, loser pay. But let's flip it over. What are some other companies that do something like that, but on the opposite end of the spectrum? Like Schulerberger. My son was visiting last month, and apparently Schulerberger has this thing where if you eat this giant plate of like 2 large fries and onion rings, plus the hamburger, all in an hour, you get it for free. Otherwise, it's like 30-something bucks. Okay, so on the flip side, there's, there is that incentive, and it does work for a lot of people. But the posting every day is one way of creating some accountability, right? Because now it's like you feel accountable to somebody else to go, okay, yeah, I got to post that I'm here. So there is some positives there. The downside, of course, is, well, if you didn't meet your goal, and then you have to pay, and then, what kinds of psychology or psychological things are you going to do to yourself? Oh, man, I didn't do it again. I can't afford this. I messed up. I'm no good. Now I'm fat. Okay, now this is like, the female mind maybe. But, it's like, oh, I didn't make it there, and now I'm late, and then I didn't get this, and then this happened, and then this happened, and oh, I'm fat. Going back to bed. Right, so there's like, there's a pro and con. Hopefully the right mentality will be attracted to that offer. And then, going back to what I said earlier, really it's the exercise that you will do that's the best one for you. So, like I've worked in health gyms, fitness clubs. I've done fitness assessments. I've worked probably in just about every industry in the health and wellness business. I don't like going to a gym. I'd much rather be outdoors. I'd much rather be teaching a class than being a student, exercise-wise, But, it's like the idea is find what works for you. And be willing to try lots of different things. And hopefully that kind of sort of answered. Yes. Hey, post that one too. Did you all post your ideas? Yes? No? Come on. Oh, I'm on Instagram too. Any one of the Dr. Wendy guesses, you'll find me. Yeah, post it on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever. Just post it. Because we're collecting. And then if you would and post it there too. Because we want to flood the school with all things good and healthy. So here's the question before we wrap up real quick. How many of you are on Instagram? Okay. For Twitter? A little bit less. Facebook? I know, it's so passé now. Right? Okay. So it looks like more of you, and then the rest of you that didn't raise your hand, what do you want? What? Who? Tumblr. Okay. Tumblr. Isn't that more pictures? Hobby and kind of stuff? Ah, okay. So yeah, so it's like, how many of you follow something at FIU? Like the FIU main page? Or their main thing? Any specifics at FIU, like FIU honors? Well, that's a good thing. You know what's going on in your office. Yeah, what else you could follow? Study abroad page. We got a couple of awesome ones in the marketing department. Just saying. Yeah. Plant-based society. Just like plants. Plants are good. Yes. Who else follows something cool? Oh, the tuners, musical tuners. Yes, it's called sound therapy. And, oh, it's amazing. And they have all the different keys, and they play it. And did you know your body is a bunch of frequency? Energy, matter, it is all, that's all it is, frequency. So when your frequency is all out of whack, it's like, I don't know, like dial-up radio, right? You're just a bunch of static. But when we put everything back into harmony, it's all good. Oh, cool. So all kinds of fun things. Uh-oh, I lost my page. Before you run away, please, I would love you guys to do this for me. Not right this second, but sometime soon. Yeah, like you'd walk by it and never know. Okay, so here's a study, some research I'm doing myself, personally, that I've done for the last 6 years, based on dance, based on health, based on behavior change, all of that. I have like a little profile quiz that talks about how we approach change, and you get assigned a dance. You don't have to know the dance, you just get, like as the personality title. So it's on right up here on my website, drwendyguest.com, and then look for the little What's Your Dance quiz. And I would love it if you guys would take that and send me some feedback, because, like kind of seeing where everybody is. All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Do you have an official ending, or we're just... All right. Well, thank you all. It was awesome.